Hey everyone, this is Matt with another compilation reaction to Ninjago Dragons Rising. This time it's Season 2, Part 2. I don't know if a compilation reaction is really the proper word to call this video, but it's a summary video. I'll just say summary video. Okay. I can make a goof every now and then. I'm not making art. Okay, so Season 2, Part 2 it's titled, the 11th episode is titled The Shape of Motion. So the episode begins with the TVA administration. Yeah, that's what I called it, because in the previous video I compared the administration to the TVA from Loki in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And Eren and Sora are hiding in this endless line that people have been in for generations, and they're like sneaking around until they find the gateway room where Eren's parents were supposedly sent somewhere. And they find out that if his parents were in that room and were sent to the wrong place, but they discover that the records were taken offline after the manager, Agent Walker, went missing. I don't know why that would be the case, but the administration's pretty useless and incompetent. But then Eren and Sora get discovered. Back with Lloyd. Lloyd has another vision where Empress Beatrix is briefly seen, so she's coming back. The visions aren't any use to Lloyd in figuring out where Roz went or who Roz's master is. Once again, is it gonna be the Overlord? Come on. It better not be the Overlord. It better be somebody cool, like, I don't know, the first Spinjitzu Master. That would be the ultimate twist. Imagine the first Spinjitzu Master coming back, and he's evil. Overlord is redundant. Wildfire has she's got this hot new look and is playing boulder golf at the monastery. With Kai missing and possibly dead, Wildfire is now trying to live up to Kai's example, and I really do like her design. Like, I liked her original design, but I guess it was way too savage or whatever. So this one, like, she's wearing, better clothing. She's got, a cooler hairstyle. It shows just how much she's evolved in the past couple seasons. When Wildfire first appeared, I wasn't sure if she was going to become a main character or not, and I was surprised that she was, and I'm glad that she was. So the administration agents, they start making threats of paperwork jargon at Eren and Sora. But, Eren and Sora are like, oh, we can't get captured, this is our first solo mission. And, Lloyd would be very disappointed, so they use a smoke bomb to get away. And they sneak out of the administration, since the agents are all incompetent, and, get into their vehicle guarded by Ryu. And I just want to say, it feels weird to see the outside of the administration. Like, I was assuming that the administration was like this endless building. Well, it might be, but it's actually a building. It's like this boring building on the outside. Like, drive by it on your way to school or work or something. It's like this big warehouse building. But then suddenly a giant dragon crashes down out of the sky. And it turns out to be the matriarch of the mountain dragons, Ryu's tribe mother. And we have this really emotional scene, or a couple emotional scenes where the ninja are trying to take care of her. And I remember, I said in my notes that Ryu lets out this heartbreaking noise at seeing his matriarch mother, like, it's like, oh, little buddy. They notice that somebody took her horns, or her horns are gone. So Eren and Sora, they need help from somebody close, so they go to the Craglings, those giant rock guys. Yeah, they're feeding the tribe mother their healing mud, since the ninja proved that people can actually consume that stuff and not die because it's mud. Lloyd, Nia, and Wildfire arrive and see what happened. And the matriarch dragon is able to give them a map. I noticed that she can't talk to anyone anymore, because I could have sworn that in season 1, in the first couple episodes, she could talk. So I don't know if I'm misremembering that. Sadly, the matriarch dragon passes away, and it's very sad. And It shows that Ninjago Dragons Rising it can be a very serious show when it wants to be. It can have some very, very dark or very heavy moments. So she dies, and only Lloyd could hear her final message, which was a warning that all the source dragons are in danger. And then there's a baby dragon hidden on the matriarch dragon's corpse. It's like Ryu 2.0. It's like this tiny little green thing. Because now that Ryu is a big mascot, they need a tiny mascot again. So the baby dragon is next in line to lead the dragons, and the ninja all agree to take care of it for the time being. Like, it's not a permanent thing at all, but there's like, okay, we're going to watch over it until we can find the baby's tribe again. And Ryu actually claws a drawing into the ground showing the location of where his tribe is now. Ryu's more intelligent than he appears at sometimes. And the ninja follow him on the other dragons. So they all go to wherever Ryu knows where the dragons are. But then Rapton and his freebooters, formerly the Claws of Imperium, attack them, like in the air. I was a little weirded out by this, but I guess, Rapton was never really on the ninja's side. They only teamed up out of necessity. So it's not like he really had, he turned a new leaf or something. So Rapton reveals that he was out of a job after Imperium stopped hunting dragons. So now him and his ex-guards, now freebooters, have become mercenaries. Lloyd initially thinks Rapton killed the matriarch dragon, but Rapton denies it. Like, no, I wasn't even anywhere near that place. And then other dragons come to help them, and it turns out the mountain dragons are living in the world forest now, which I think is the same forest. Yeah, the temple with the information on the source dragon cores were. So yeah, it's the same forest. Ryu cries for his mother, and it's like, oh, still so sad. I would like to see dragons cry. Yeah, back with Cinder and Notch, they train in the Shadow Dojo until Ross zaps Nox with the device on the back of his neck. Because Nox being too violent with Cinder, and Ross needs them to be fully prepared to fight other elemental masters. It's like, hey, be careful with Cinder. Back at the monastery, the Source Dragon Motion appears before the ninja, and Lloyd is hesitant to trust her until she grows to her true size. She was big before, but she's like, whoa, she's huge, gigantic, and she tells the ninja that there is a threat to the Source Dragons. As the Matriarch of Fallen Leaves and the Patriarch of the Northern Spiral have both had their crowns stolen, so I think they're dead. So other Source Dragons have been killed, which makes me wonder, okay, what is the power scaling in Ninjago? Because you got monsters, you got humans, you got superhumans, and you have Source Dragons, and Source Dragons are supposed to be the ones at the top, yet they can be defeated by, I don't know, I assume a normal person. Or relatively normal. So whoever came after these matriarch dragons are also probably coming after the source dragons next. And the source dragon of Emotion admits that source dragons aren't all powerful. See, this is what I was referring to. As one was captured by Imperium, and before that, another one was killed, which is also something that we'll be diving into later. And she says that if source dragons die, reality dies. Well, that's pretty concerning. That all of reality depends on you being alive, which means that if somebody wants to destroy reality, all they have to do is kill you, and it's obvious that is possible. So whoever created reality kind of piss poor job of it. Looking at you, first Spinjitzu Master. She's telling the ninja this because the Source Dragons trust them, so that's good. Source Dragons aren't omnipotent or omnipresent, so they don't know who is doing this, which is like, what? You don't? Really? Okay. So Lloyd shows her the map that the matriarch drew her, and she identifies it as the City of Temple, home of the Tournament of Sources, which is similar to Master Chen's Tournament of Elements. That was a great season. I miss Master Chen so much. They conclude that the mysterious enemy might be involved with the Tournament of the Sources, so the ninja's mission is to infiltrate and stop them, and that's when the episode ends. And then the episode 12 is Enter the City of Temples. So we have a montage of elemental masters being invited by tiny spirit dragon couriers or scrolls to the Tournament of the Sources. They're reading the scroll like, ooh, I'd like to go to that. And this includes that toxic elemental character who from the Tournament of Elements. I think her name is Tox. So I'm happy that they're bringing back characters for the original series. You know, I remember Tox, like her original design was basically Toxikita from Lego Ultra Agents. So I loved the Lego Ultra Agents minifigures. And I think Mr. Pale, the invisible guy, like his design was invisible, spelled with a Z. Invisible spelled with a Z. So I always wondered why Ninjago used Ultra Agent minifigures for their show, but whatever. I'm reading here that the idea for the original Ultra Agents character, like Tommy Andreasen, who's a creator of Ninjago, he helped create the Ultra Agents, so that's why the designs were so good for Ultra Agents. Lego Ultra Agents, I wish you lasted a little longer. Okay, but enough of nostalgia. So I think Mr. Pale also appears, and it's nice seeing these characters again. But then Empress Beatrix is also invited. Yeah, she also gets an invitation, even though she is not an elemental master. While this is happening, we see some Labatais break into Creel's junkyard to steal a mech. But a wildfire comes in, and she's calling herself the Red Ninja now, which, with Kai gone, okay. But then Nia stops them from getting away and puts out a fire that Wildfire causes. It turns out Wildfire can be a pretty bad shot. And Nia thinks that Wildfire needs more training, but Wildfire is really stubborn about it. But they both agree on one thing. They both miss Kai, which is, oh. Then we see that Kai and Bonzel are trapped in the nether space hiding from the Forbidden Five. So they are still alive, and they are still actively trying to escape the prison they're in. And back in the monastery, while Aaron's baking a pie, he's telling Sora and Ryu about his old best friend Frack, who taught him how to bake pies. Since it's so random that Aaron would bring up Frack, I am just going to go out on a limb and say that Frack is going to become an important character for some reason. Now, how many times have you watched a TV show where they bring something up? It's oh, I wonder what happened to this character, and then that character just appears not long afterwards. Oh, I magically recreated them into existence. Aaron lost touch with Frack after he moved away, and he doesn't know what happened to him. And Aaron also doesn't think he'll go to the Tournament of the Sources since he isn't an elemental master. But Lloyd will later tell Aaron that he does need Aaron at the Tournament of the Sources to look for the matriarch's murderer in case they are there. At the same time, Lloyd goes to Dragon Masters Egalt and Rontu because he feels he and the other ninja, they need new masters. Even though it's you're the leader, Lloyd. Master Wu was the leader, and then you became the leader. And also, Zane is training with Egalt and Rontu, and I didn't even realize he was gone the last episode or two. Lloyd helps, was able to help Zane master Rising Dragon technique, proving that he himself is a good master or a good leader. He was able to help his friend achieve Rising Dragon technique, so I don't know why he needs masters when he's able to inspire his team like that. But Egalt and Rontu, they unexpectedly reject Lloyd's request and say that Lloyd needs to become the new master. See? You don't need any new master. You are the perfect master. And then they test Lloyd by attacking him, and he manages to quickly defeat Egalt and Rontu, proving that he is a master. But Lloyd is still unsure about himself, but Master Rontu says that he has the heart to lead the ninja and carry on Master Wu's legacy. which once again is something that I feel everyone knows, but whatever. And so Lloyd goes back to the monastery and he starts teaching everyone stew jitsu, which is what was kind of a part of the tests that he just passed. Yeah, involving balancing bowls of stew on their heads and catching bowls without spilling a drop. Aaron tells Lloyd he's not going to the tournament, but Lloyd says he still needs someone to find who killed the Betrayal dragon. Like, I said that already, but Lloyd tells Aaron that he's never useless. So hey, don't call yourself useless, man. You are not useless. So the ninja arrive at a waterfall wearing their new Tournament of Sources minifig outfits, toys. And I see Euthanasia is there, and she puts this invite scroll in the mechanism in the wall to open the door to the elevator of the tournament and goes up. The ninja don't have scrolls, but then an old man named Blecht, Minister of Ledgering for the Tournament of Sources, comes out to greet them. And we get some cool lore that also explains why the Tournament of Sources has never been mentioned before. Blecht's family have run the tournament for generations and would move the City of Temples to a different realm for each tournament and send the invitations to the respective elemental masters who lived in said realm. But now that all the realms are merged, more invitations have been sent out more than ever before, and since the ninja did not receive any invitations, they are not invited. Kind of weird that they wouldn't be invited since they are literally the largest group of elemental masters in all the lands. This is a funny joke that I want to mention where Blecht he's insulting the ninja. Like somebody says who? I think maybe Nia says who are you? The elemental master of Shade? And Blecht says, no! That is the elemental master of Shade. And, somebody just comes out, but that made me think wait a minute, elemental master of Shade? Yeah, there's literally a character who's the elemental master of Shadow, but wait, so Shade and Shadow are the same, and are they? Okay, I'm looking at the wiki right now, and it says that his powers were transferred to his daughter Obscuria. So the elemental master of Shadow, his name was Shade. Apparently, Shade and Shadow are the same thing, which I guess it could be. Yeah. Anyway, so okay, at least they have an excuse. Okay, Obscuria is Shade's daughter. Okay, I'm satisfied. Also, it says here that there's Shade was using his elemental power around 7 years before Ninjago Dragons Rising in the Hunted season. It's okay, so a lot of years have gone by. I don't know. I'll have to look up at some point exactly what the time scale of Ninjago really is. The ninja wait for the next elemental master to come so they can try and hop into the elevator, and we see this lava tide elemental master arrive, or it might not be a lava tide, but it's a tide that's kind of glowing blue, and the ninja uses as their chance to sneak in. At first, I didn't know why they needed their vehicle and dragons, and if they did need their vehicle and dragons, what did they need the elevator for? Yeah, it's they don't sneak into the elevator, but they're following the elevator up. But then I see that the elevator's going really, 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 really high. Yeah, okay, yeah, this makes sense. As then the ninjas start getting attacked by robot guards with jetpacks and laser guns. And Sora tries using her powers on one of the guards, but they don't work, possibly because of how old their technology is. Because they're steampunk robots. I'm sure. The dragons fight off the guards, allowing the ninja to climb the rest of the wall. And it turns out that Wildfire is afraid of heights, even though she flies on a dragon. Well, actually, she says I'm fine when I'm on a dragon, but when I'm not on a dragon, I am terrified. Aaron and Ryu, they go missing while escaping after supposedly getting to the top because he hitched a ride on a flying bot. And when the rest of the ninja get to the top, the ninja see people are watching the fight on a big TV. And while Blecht isn't impressed, his nephew Roby is. And Roby is the new master of ceremonies for the Tournament of Sources. and he orders the guards shouldn't arrest the ninja, because they should participate. He says that his parents retire to the Kingdom of Madness, which is pretty weird. Why would you want to retire to the Kingdom of Madness? I know that the Craglings would be nice neighbors, but it's called the Kingdom of Madness for a reason. It just doesn't sound very pleasant. So Roby has plans for the Tournament of Sources this time, wanting it to be an event broadcasted through multiple mediums and platforms to generate content. I think that's more or less his own words. Basically, he wants to stream it on YouTube. And he needs the ninja for help. And interestingly, he doesn't know why the ninja weren't invited. The ninja enter the City of Temples, and there's like hundreds of elemental masters walking around, all very diverse, and of like different species, or different races, or however you want to say it. So you got Serpentine, you got Gecko, you got Muntz, you got Merlopian, and all these other beings. And Aaron and at the same time, Aaron and Ryu are being arrested at a completely different location, where they meet Aaron's old friend Frack, who is an orange serpentine. And as soon as he was brought up, I knew he was going to appear. So Frack is there to save the day. Okay, so in Season 2, Episode 13 is They Gather for the Feast, which opens with a flashback of young Aaron playing ninja, and then some bullies start picking on him, and then Frack appears and scares off the bullies and defends Aaron, and turns out Frack is just as big a ninja fan as Aaron is. And while Aaron's parents aren't mentioned and they don't appear, which is kind of weird for an Aaron flashback, it made me realize that we haven't really seen much of Aaron's parents since the first episode. We got like a cameo here and there, but at this point, there haven't been many flashbacks, so we don't really know what their characters are like, which is funny because I think like future episodes would have bigger, longer flashbacks involving Aaron's parents, which is good because they are an important part of Aaron's motivation as a character. But at this point, no, we don't really get much of Aaron's parents. So, but back in the present, Frack saves Aaron from being arrested and vouches for him and Ryu. And Frack turns out to be the elemental master of Quake. He causes earthquakes, because that is so very different from Earth. Interestingly, Frack didn't inherit his powers from either of his parents at any point. He just got them after the merge. So I guess the theory that all the new elemental masters running around is directly caused by the merge releasing all this excess energy into people. Yeah, I just realized it. His name is Frack, and he can make the earth shift like a fracking machine. Ugh. Yeah. Frack also says he has a master, but he doesn't say who his master is. So Aaron and Frack, they then reunite with the ninja and take a tour through the Temple City. Aaron's looking out for any potential suspects for the person who killed the matriarch. Black and Roby are giving the tour. I like how different they are. Black, the old guy, is traditional and disapproves of Roby's new ideas, while Roby is flashy and he's like making fun of Black for being old and traditional. And Wildfire, like, she starts developing a crush on Roby. I'm like, really, Roby? Okay. To be fair, like, Wildfire spent the majority of her life with dragons and away from humans, so I guess she would kind of fall in love with the first guy she's just like a little bit interested in. Okay, I'm not gonna show a clip of this because I'm a bit of a schedule to finish this before a certain time, but when Roby is talking, he his hand goes back and actually hits Wildfire in the face. At least that's what it looked like in the animation. It's and Wildfire just has no reaction to it. I guess she's just so lovey-dovey for Roby that she didn't even notice that his hand hit her in the face, and he was just so excited that he didn't even realize that his hand did hit somebody in the face. And he's doing this while explaining the seven-headed dragon art that they have somewhere in the city. Roby considers the Source Dragon legends as fairy tales. Yeah, even though they should be considered history. I was like, what? You think the Source Dragons are fairy tales? They exist. Imperium had one captured. Is that not news? Yeah, well, of course, that could show how serious he actually takes his culture and lineage. It's like, oh, it's all fairy tales. So Roby explains the rules of the tournament. When one elemental master loses a match, their powers are transferred by the elemental cup to the winner. And this goes on until the final match, where the final winner gets all the powers. So an elemental master could get like 2 powers or 3 powers, depending on how many people they defeat, until they have like half the powers in the tournament. And you think that maybe like getting more powers would cause like the matches to get bigger and bigger in scale to make up for the fact that basically like these elemental masters like have like so much power now, but no, the match is gonna stay the same size. Blecht clarifies that the winner the winner gives the powers back during a victory ceremony. So, despite all the characters that potentially losing all their elemental powers, they will get them back eventually. And I just want to point out, this is like very flawed. Like the ninja even point out the obvious flaws in this. Like, what if somebody takes the cup, or what if somebody cheats? But Roby's like assuring them that nothing bad has ever happened, nor will it ever happen. Xantans, the leader of the Mother Garden, returns. So he's the leader of the Mucoid Warriors. He pops out of nowhere, and turns out he's the elemental master of plants. And it turns out he didn't even know he was the elemental master of plants until he got invited, and he just thought he was just really good at gardening. It's a weird reveal, but it brings back a funny character, so I don't mind it. Later, the ninja meet more of their competitors at the banquet, and I just want to say, like, at the banquet, the food looked delicious, even though it was all Lego. Yeah, so like we have like a Tide elemental master. We have a Cragling who's an elemental master. We have this giant purple guy. I don't know what his name is, or they might say his name later, and I just didn't write the note for it here. He looks like this giant guy from one of the later seasons. He was with the Sons of Garmadon, I believe. So I don't know if he's like the same race of people or something. I wrote a note saying like it looks like none of the elemental masters like the food or something. Nia, like during the banquet, like Nia like waves and talks and Mr. Pale, so it's nice that that the show genuinely remembers these characters. But then Jordana suddenly appears, begging for Sora's help, and then she switches personalities all of a sudden. And then Noct is Cinder there as well, and a fight is about to break out when Roby is able to stop the fight from happening. It proves that Roby, for all his eccentricity, he does take some rules seriously. So I guess he's not like Chris McClane from Total Drama. He's much less evil. Lloyd meets a Devonian elemental master. He's like sort of like devils, looking like devils, but then comes face to face with Roz. One moment that I want to point out is that like during the ceremony, Roby is like reading a Cragling poem. I noticed that in the animation, like Blecht seems to actually be impressed with Roby's pronunciations. So so I guess there's some amount of respect for each other and effort for traditions between them. So it's like oh, Roby actually is actually trying here. It's like, oh, he learned how to pronounce this correctly. But then Empress Beatrix interrupts, and she's like making a scene. And then it's revealed that Empress Beatrix is actually Zeatrix. Empress Beatrix's twin sister, the one who is actually an elemental master. Even though she has the exact same hairdo as Beatrix, when she had a different hairdo in the flashback in season 1. So I'm like, why did she change her hairdo to look more like Beatrix? Why would she want to be confused for Beatrix? It's just weird. Beatrix is angry that the ninja dethroned her sister because she had spent years planning to get revenge on her. And it turns out that she is the elemental master of Shockwave. And the show really just gave up on trying to, keep the elemental powers, elemental. It's like, How is Shockwave an element? Shockwave is the name of a Decepticon. These are all just superpowers at some point. Yeah, she was not invited to the feast, and Beatrix is also angry at Roby for several oversights and how she's been treated since she arrived at the Temple City, like not getting her own room, with the implication being Blect not wanting her there. And Beatrix also swears revenge on Ross for her father's death. Like, she knows that Ross was involved in her father's death. So I thought that was interesting, like, that, Beatrix and the ninja, like, were both an oversight, even though it seems like this place does not make oversights, like, by accident. In the ninja's quarters, which honestly looks like a gym, which makes sense, given I guess they would train for their matches, Lloyd starts to wonder if he's actually been seeing Beatrix in his visions instead of Beatrix, which seems likely now since Beatrix is still MIA. Like, even into season 3, Beatrix is still MIA. Sora wonders if Beatrix was the one who killed the matriarch dragon. But Aaron thinks it's Ross, and Wildfire has the crazy theory that it's Blect, simply because he doesn't like Roby. My poor Roby, he disapproves of him. But then that night, an assassin sneaks in and tries to kill Lloyd, but Ryu wakes up and warns the other ninja. They chase and fight the assassin across the rooftops, and Lloyd is able to defeat it, but the fight notifies several bots and contestants, like so many people come out to see what's going on, and the assassin turns out to be a robot and short circuits. So, and Lloyd initially thinks that Ross sent the robot until Ross throws down another assassin bot, followed by another from the Devonian contestant. So 3 robots were sent to 3 different contestants that night. Talks, the elemental master of poison, she concludes that the poison used on the weapons that the assassins had only comes from the plants in the Mother Garden. So then Xantans becomes a suspect, even though Lloyd vouches for him that he wasn't the one who sent the assassins. Unfortunately, Roby has Xantans exiled anyway, so it's like, oh, that's it for Xantans. Bye. I mean, I guess, like I said, the poison only comes from the Mother Garden. Well, Xantans caused some plants to appear earlier, and they shared characteristics of plants from the Mother Garden, so that could be how the assassins got the poison. They just assume that Xantans brought the poison with them. Like, no, he made these plants that look like plants from the Mother Garden appear. Maybe those were plants you can develop poison from. In my notes, it says that Roby was there when Xantans grew those plants. Do people just forget that? Or there's gotta be like security footage of those plants. See if anybody took poison from them. But then the episode ends with Nia thinking that she sees Jay in the crowd and goes after him. Episode 14 is called Inside the Maze. So we get a nice flashback to the ninja in the old monastery where they all gather after receiving a message from Master Wu, and Master Wu wants the ninja to learn how to dance, as if it will improve their fighting skills. So then Jay and Nia start dancing together, and they have fun with Jay declaring his love for Nia, like, aww, it's like so cute, they're meant to be together. And then it cuts back to the present where Nia is looking for Jay in the crowd, but doesn't find him. And the next morning, the ninja are still trying to figure out who sent the assassin bots. And Aaron mentions that his parents were much better at solving mysteries, which makes you think, like, wait, were his parents detectives? Like, actual detectives? Because either that's never been mentioned of before now, or I completely missed that. Even that is crazy to think. That, like, oh, Aaron's parents were detectives, so maybe they added that because, his parents weren't really all that interesting as characters. So they're like, oh, let's make them detectives. Oh, now they're interesting. We get a flashback that shows that Aaron's parents would read him detective stories. So, I don't know if that's what he's referring to, or if they're just detectives that like to teach their kid how to be a detective. Aaron and Ryu, they try to retrace the assassin's steps, but they find a symbol on the wall. Aaron draws it in his book before getting interrupted by Frack. So they decide to take a break and eat some pie, and Frack thinks Santans was responsible for the attacks, but Aaron vouches for him this time, like, oh, no, I met that guy, he wouldn't do that. And they start comparing, like, post-merge experiences. They come across Wildfire, like, still crushing over Roby, and it's really cute, just, like, how big of a crush Wildfire has on Roby, because, like, it shows another side of her character that, hasn't really been seen before. Oh, and speaking of cute, Cole reunites with Geo. It's like, oh yeah, weird that they haven't seen each other before. Yeah, since Geo is an elemental master, like, he's competing with Cole, and they both come across an old mech, like, in this, near this museum or whatever. It's like this old mech display. The show really loves mechs all of a sudden. And this old mech belonged to an elemental master of Earth at some point. And Cole surmises that, it's probably his ancestor. Like, really? Probably? Yeah, I would say probably at the least, man. Also, Sora confronts Jordana about asking for her help last night, but Jordana just denies it, like, I never asked you for anything. And Sora quietly follows Jordana and catches her meeting with Noct. And it turns out that Frack is on Ross's team as well. And I was like, oh no. Yeah, and I started to think that something was fishy about him. Well, snaky, I guess. Sora tries telling Aaron about this, but he doesn't believe her. Like, oh no, you must have misunderstood something. In the nether space, Kai and Bonzel, they're still secretly watching three of the Forbidden Five talk to a wall of energy, with the fourth member sleeping on a throne. The fourth member like this. And we don't know why they're unconscious or whatever. That's pretty quick. Nothing much happens in the nether space until, like, the end. Back in the City of Temples, Roby and Blecht pass by several contestants training, and we get all to see all these contestants that we've never seen before, like, use their powers. Like, one can grow big. One just seems to be, like, a really good fighter. Like so I don't know how that's an elemental power. One has bubble power, and one has, Black Canary's screaming abilities. And, Blecht tells Roby that he doesn't approve of how Roby's treating the tournament. He doesn't approve of him sensationalizing the tournament over respecting tradition, like Roby's father did. Which makes me wonder, like, why did Roby's father retire if Roby wasn't going to respect tradition? And that's only if he actually did retire and he didn't, die. But we see Roby prevent another fight from happening between Cinder and Wildfire. So once again, it shows him actually being, like, protective of Wildfire, so maybe he reciprocates Wildfire's attraction to him. And the ninja, they all agree to only use Rising Dragon technique as a last resort, against Shatterspin. I just want to point out that Roby, I find Roby entertaining, but he could be a little annoying. Like, for one thing, he has a selfie stick that he's recording himself with. Like, hey, Roby here. I'm like, you don't need to have a selfie stick. It's Ninjago. Come on. Brian K. Vaughan's comic book saga mentions a fidget spinner, despite taking place in outer space, like far away from Earth. And now Ninjago has selfie sticks. Come on. Yeah, I still haven't forgotten the saga fidget spinner reference from years and years ago. So Zane is the first ninja to fight, and the person he's fighting is the Devonian contestant Zur, the elemental master of Reflex. Ah, yes, Reflex, my favorite element. Reflex. I guess the writers are just being creative, with the kind of powers that they can have, but the thing is that Zur's abilities just kind of look like speed. Yeah. He basically just, like, has speed powers. Yeah, what happened to the speed guy, like the super fast guy from the Tournament of Elements? It's like, he doesn't appear in this. Like, I was kind of hoping that, there's this disabled elemental master in a wheelchair. I don't think we get to see them do anything, but I was, like, kind of hoping that maybe, they would be like the new elemental master of speed or something. So Zane puts up a good fight, but Zur wins, just to conclude, just to speed that up. And so Roby transfers Zane's powers to Zur, so now Zur has ice abilities as well. And Sora points out that when Zane froze Zur's leg during the match, the ice melted a little too quickly, like suspiciously quick. There's one thing to add is that the matches are pretty quick. Like I was kind of hoping that maybe there'd be a bit more time between when the ninja fights, since there's literally I think like hundreds of contestants, but no, it's like it just focuses on matches between the main characters, which is fine. But I was like, I don't know. One criticism I have for this part of the season is that I really wish more elemental masters, were given a bit more focus. So Nia, like she's the next ninja to fight, and to her surprise, the contestant she's fighting is Jay, who is also on Ross's team. Shocking. Literally shocking. Nia and the other ninja, they quickly realize that Jay has amnesia and doesn't remember any of them. He's like he's a jerk. Like, who are you guys, huh? Don't pretend you know me. I know you're lying. Ross told me you'd lie to me. So Nia and Jay compete in a tower battle where they have to climb a tower to get this dagger at the top. It's like, originally I thought they were just gonna be like techniques, like fighting techniques, but maybe this is part of like Roby's changes where like that it's not just you're not just like fighting each other, you're also competing in these crazy arena matches. Like you have to go through like an obstacle course while also fighting each other, something like that. So I don't know if that's new or not. Black doesn't seem to approve. I take it back. Like, this is something new to the tournament. Like, these were not how matches were originally supposed to go, but now they're more sensationalized for drama. Nia can't bring herself to fight against Jay, but Jay has no problem fighting Nia, even kicking her. And Nia tries to convince Jay of the truth, but Ross has already filled his head with lies, telling him that he was a great warrior before the merge wiped his memory. And he ended up in the administration. So Ross has already like completely messed up Jay's head. And then Aaron like quickly realizes that Jay is Agent Walker. Like, he was the administration. He's Agent Walker. But then Jay puts on a wolf mask, and Ross hits the gong. And isn't that cheating? I mean, these aren't Jay's abilities. This is like an upgrade given to him by a mystical artifact that nobody else has access to. So I really feel like the gong or shattering or whatever, like I feel like that would be cheating. So Jay's powered up and it breaks some of the goodness in him. Yeah, but Nia is able to combat his shatter spin with her rising dragon technique and knocks him down. So Nia makes her way to the top of the tower before Jay and grabs the dagger, and Nia wins, and Jay's lightning powers are transferred to her. And Ross is disappointed in Jay and basically throws him off the team. And so Jay tells Nia straight to her face that he hates her. And it's like, ooh. Back in the nether space, Kai and Bonzel, they approach the sleeping member of the Forbidden Five, who for some reason they can tell is female. I don't know. And for some reason I think it's safe to try to get her attention to see if she really is asleep. And you're trying to sneak around. What are you doing? But then Bonzel notices some of Ryu's scales on Kai's uniform, and that supposedly gives him a connection to someone on the outside to potentially communicate with. So Kai starts trying to contact Ryu. So Ryu starts hearing these voices, and he's getting freaked out. Like, what? What's happening? This is a good episode for a great twist with Jay being on Ross's team, and Jay feels almost like a completely different character, which is good for character development. Okay, so episode 15 is United We Fall. It's a flashback to the day the merge happened when Wu warns Nia of something coming. Ooh, yeah, classic Master Wu. Oh no, this thing that I never thought would happen, but is happening right now. I never told you guys about it, so now literally at the last minute, I am going to tell you this, even though I have no time to tell you it. It's I'm so glad that the fandom agree that, that Wu, keeping secrets from everybody over everything is, it is such a joke within the fandom where, everyone just makes fun of it. It's widely agreed upon. They even make fun of how the domino effect of Wu abandoning Lloyd, causing him to bring the Serpentine back, eventually leading to the Overlord coming back. Back to the episode. The ninja go to Ross to demand for Jay back, but Ross said he sent him away for losing a match in his elemental powers. And Nia wants to go after him, but the other ninjas say they can't because that would have to they would have to leave the tournament and endanger the world. I mean, I guess they could send Zane since he doesn't have his elemental powers anymore. But then again, they could need Zane for something. So Aaron tells Sora that Jay is Agent Walker and might know where his parents are, and he's frustrated that things keep getting in the way of him finding his parents, and I can honestly understand that. We get a scene of Nia training aggressively while Sora stresses over trying to study her potential opponents, but Lloyd calms her down. So so we get a nice scene between Lloyd and Sora, and I don't feel like we get enough of those because Lloyd is Sora's sensei as well. We cut to Ryu, and he's still freaked out over hearing Kai's voice, and I'm like, dude, Kai, I think it's pretty clear that he can hear you. Tell him something. Yeah, why are you wasting your time? Sora fights Kizzy, the elemental master of balance, and I wondered if Kizzy is an ocean tide or something. Yeah, water tide. Kizzy is a water tide. I guess there are different tides. And as the elemental master of balance, how is balance an elemental power? What can you do with balance? That's the power of a source dragon, not an elemental master. And things like Kizzy can shoot water, so that's useful. Out of his mouth, and they do this tightrope obstacle course race, and Sora uses her powers to make herself a balancing pole or balancing stick and slash weapon that she's able to use to win. It's and it proves just how useless the element of balance is. This is something literal that literally only somebody with the power of balance could possibly win, and Kizzy still somehow loses. Kizzy is a graceful loser, and and lets her power be transferred to Sora. And then Wildfire fights Cinder next, but she's too focused on getting revenge on Cinder not to get this flag that's a part of the match. So when Ross hits the gong, powering up Cinder, he's able to win, and Wildfire loses her powers. So now two ninja have lost their elemental powers. I wrote a note saying that Roby called Wildfire hot and seems sorry that she got hurt and lost. So I guess he really does like Wildfire. So yeah, it's nice that they have a mutual attraction to one another. And he also tries making up this new word, staying zoot. It's gross, man. Don't be a YouTuber. It's a new slang word to describe something awesome that it's not like any of the slang from Young Justice. I'm feeling the mode, or I'm feeling totally whelmed. Yeah, I'm never gonna say staying zoot for anything, not even as an ironic joke. So after the match ends, Zane finds that the gong is not against the rules of the tournament, which is really? And then Cinder confronts the ninja and is able to torment Wildfire into trying to attack him, and makes it look like the ninja were just attacking him without reason as a way to get them in trouble. And the ninja are almost disqualified, but Zane, having read the rules, to see if the gong was illegal, he invokes the Cavern Run, which is a deadly vehicle race to get immunity from exile. And it made me wonder, Zane, you can just, have Roby and the robots, access your memory of what happened with Cinder to show that he was being a bully to Wildfire, right? Can they not do that? That just seems easier. Of course, there's a chance that maybe he could have, altered his memory or something, so maybe not, but I feel like after a court case or whatever to show that that Zane cannot alter his memories in that way, I feel like he would be proven innocent, but that would take too long. So Cavern Race, because more Lego sets, and because of they don't want to waste any time, the race is going to happen tonight, at that very night. So the ninja go to the tournament junkyard so Sora can build them a vehicle, and while the ninja get ready to race, Aaron does his detective work. The rules were for the ninja that the ninja must drive the fastest to beat the tiny pace dragon before it reaches the finish line. So Yeah, they're literally racing a tiny dragon that can fly really fast. So while Eren is investigating, he finds that Ryu is near Ross's team's quarters, and they investigate it together. Eren finds evidence that convinces him that Frack is working for Ross, so like he's devastated by that. And Ryu finds, he's able to find a stone that he can hear Kai's voice out of, and that's why he was so interested in Team Ross's quarters. I thought Ryu was hearing Kai's voice in his head, but it turns out no, he's hearing the voice come out of somewhere. It turns out it's coming from that stone in Ross's quarters. The stone is how Jordana communicates with the Forbidden Five in the Nether Space, because that's the thing, that the Forbidden Five are contacting somebody on the outside, and Kai and Bonsal don't know who it is. But then suddenly Eren and Ryu are discovered by Ross, and at the same time the ninja are driving faster than the Pace Dragon until they reach the Green Zone and have to deal with toxic goo. Back with Ross and Eren, Ross tells Eren that Sora was the one who powered the object that hit him at the Ritual of the Blood Moon, and Eren doesn't believe him, but Ross tries to convince Eren to join his side, like join the dark side. And Ross reveals that he wants to reverse the merge. Like, the reason why he's been doing everything since season 1 is all for reversing the merge. And for the final revelation of the episode, the ninja are able to use their elemental powers to protect them from the toxic goo, but the Pace Dragon flies past them. And it looks like that, they might lose the race. And cutting back to Ross reveals to Eren that the merge was caused by Master Wu. Like, Master Wu caused the merge. Like, that's how the episode ends, with that big, giant revelation. Episode 16 is Truth and Lies. So, team of the ninja, Lloyd, Colney, and Sora, they're continuing the race, separating their vehicle into 3 motorcycles and a jet, which I think is something that like they could originally do with like their vehicles in like one of the previous seasons, and it's like obviously a Lego set. Like, by now. Funny thing is that only Sora knew it could do this, but didn't tell anyone else. Like, I feel like this is something you should tell, because I would not have been prepared to drive unless I already knew that my sidecar could be its own vehicle. So, but back with Eren and Ross, like Eren still doesn't believe Ross, and I do like their conversation that they have because it portrays Ross in a whole new light. He views himself as a hero because all of his actions are for the purpose of reversing the merge, even if his actions are, villainous. Ross tries to convince Eren by telling him that reversing the merge could bring his parents back. It could, reset everything as it once was. Eren still doesn't trust him, so Ross lets Eren and Ryu leave. And at the same time, the ninja beat the Pace Dragon and win the race. And next morning, Eren wonders about what Ross told him and whether or not it's true. Euphrasia fights Zeatrix on flying saucers, and Zeatrix knocks Euphrasia off her saucer and wins. Next, Noct beats up Tox, the Elemental Master Poison, during a ball game trial, and Noct is almost disqualified. Afterwards, Sora overhears Noct call Jordana his sister, and it makes me wonder, what is Noct the elemental master of? And I had to look this up. Brute force. Yeah. Brute force. Brute force isn't an element you can master. I mean, you're just really good at fighting. How is brute force an element? Yeah, I guess this is a minor problem I have with all these different elemental masters, because some are really creative and cool, and others are just a couple feel kind of lazy. Brute force, I'm sorry, is kind of lazy. It's like they didn't even want to give him a cooler power. So Eren confronts Frack about being with Ross, but Frack says Ross isn't all that bad, and he also admits that he hasn't tried on any of the wolf masks yet, so his good is still intact. So Eren's training with Frack, how Ross trained him, and this lets Eren be able to do full spin jutsu for once. So it's Ross's training is actually proving pretty good right now. So Lloyd fights Mr. Pale, and he wins and gets the abilities, but things Mr. Pale is able to use this full body light powers, so I guess he can't just turn invisible. Like he's the master of light or whatever. So it's like, oh, like he just uses the light, his light powers to make it impossible for anybody to see him. One thing is that Lloyd is able to use Spinjitzu to cover Mr. Pale with sand so he can see him and knock him off the platform. And that's how Lloyd wins and gets Mr. Pale's powers. And without powers, we actually do see what Mr. Pale looks like, and he's just he's just as good as growing a beard as I am. So that's funny. Weird thing is that Lloyd's able to turn completely invisible, including his clothes, which is weird because Mr. Pale can only turn his body invisible. Like his clothes, are still very much visible, but maybe that's because Lloyd doesn't have real control over it yet. So Cole fights Frack next. And Frack fanboys over Cole at first because he is still he's a fanboy of the ninja. Aaron is angry at Sora, like he kind of like snaps at her a bit because he starts to realize that maybe she really did power that object and made it look like that it was him that did it. Cole and Frack, they have to race to climb walls, and Frack uses his quake powers to try to make Cole slip, and Cole is struggling because he can't control metal, so he's not Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender. So while this is going on, Aaron actually confronts Sora about lying to him, and she admits it. And she gives a defense about it, but Aaron is still angry, and his confidence just plummets after that. Like his confidence is just completely crushed. During the match, Cole makes a comment like, "Hey, this match is rigged against me because it favors Frack's powers," and he's completely right. He can't use his powers on these things, but Frack is 100% able to use them, so it is 100% rigged against him. Worst of all, Frack is able to win and rings the bell, and he gains Cole's powers. And Lloyd suspects that the tournament is rigged against the ninja. Zane's ice melting a little faster than usual. Nia fighting Jay, who's her, the love of her life. While the ninja are talking to each other, Ross reveals to Jordana that telling Aaron the truth about the merge will sow doubt and mistrust into the ninja, which is already happening. And his main goal in the tournament is to gain all the elemental powers to create the dragon icons he needs to undo the merge. So next, Nia fights Noct, and whoever collects the most holographic gems win. That's the match. It's just catch holographic gems, and whoever catches all three wins the match. It's cool seeing Nia use water and lightning at the same time. So it's that's another cool thing about this tournament, that you get to see people use multiple elemental abilities at once. I just wish that we got to see a few more matches between contestants who aren't part of Team Ross or part of Team Ninja. But unfortunately, Noct wins the match because the third and final holographic gem appears right next to him after Nia was about to grab it. She reaches out to grab it, it disappears, and then it appears right next to Noct, and Noct just easily grabs it. 100% rigged. So Noct gains all Nia's powers, and now only 2 ninja have elemental powers left. Lloyd and Sora. So the ninja are losing it fast. Sora fights Cinder next, and Aaron hasn't talked to with Ross while this is happening, and admits that he was right. But luckily, Sora is smarter than Cinder, and so she quickly figures out all these patterns that they have to, solve in this match, and wins. And she gains Cinder's powers. Sora wins the match, but Ross wins the war, and that Aaron admits that he believes Ross. Oh yeah, you were totally right. He's Later that night, Master Wu's golden ball sprite ghosts thing visits Cole, and he lures Cole to another monastery that's near the city of temples, and this is at the same time that Aaron is training with Ross now. And then episode 17 is called The Sword Shatters. We get a little bit more of Kai and Bonzel in this episode. Kai and Bonzel witness the remaining 3 members of the Forbidden Five take the sleeping one away. It's obviously that this 4th member, their soul is possessing Jordana, and I don't know how that is exactly. Like how did this one like how did this member's the spirit escape but the body didn't? I don't understand that. But maybe it'll be revealed later on. I might have missed something. Oh, in the outside world, the ninja wake up and get ready for the day, and Lloyd tries to cheer up Wildfire and Nia over losing their powers and losing the matches. And since Nia doesn't think that she's of any use anymore, she goes to look for Jay. But then she hears the Kai's voice in the stone, like from the nether space. And interestingly, Kai can't hear Nia back. So Nia can hear Kai, Kai can't hear Nia. But then Ryu does something to transfer power to her, and I guess it's because they're siblings. Like that's the connection, because like Kai can only talk to people he's connected to. So yeah, like he has like Ryu's scales, and he's he's Nia's brother. So I guess like that's the obvious connection. So I guess like Nia decides not to leave because now she needs to find a way to get Kai out of the nether space. Cole tells Zane about the other monastery, and the ninja return from training to find that Aaron has returned and has a board of drawings set up. Like he's talking about Pepe Sylvia. And Aaron sort of tells Ninja what happened with Roz the other night, and he's not convinced that Roz killed the matriarch dragon and took her horns, or killed the other source dragons. Nia thinks it could be the Devonians, or Cole thinks it might be Zeatrix, and some of the others actually agree with this, but Aaron doesn't know what the dragon yin-yang symbol he found means, so Cole recommends going to the Temple City Museum to see if there is a clue. Aaron he brushes Sora off, and Zane says that he detects cringe coming from Aaron and Sora. It's like, really, you can detect cringe? Cringe. Lloyd has he has another vision, this time of a sword, and Lloyd interprets that today he will fight Zeatrix and lose. So it's another big uh-oh. So Aaron goes to the museum, and he sees a portrait of somebody who looks like Ross. Yeah, I don't think it is Ross. I think it's just one of his ancestors or something. But then he finds Geo making a sculpture of Roby, and things like Roby wants to replace all the old stuff in the museum with new and interactive stuff like TVs. And I'm not sure if is this commentary on modern museums, because I've been to museums that have had stuff like that. So Aaron learns that the elemental cup is made from matriarch dragon horns. Aaron also sees that a portrait of one of Roby's ancestors. Roby is wearing that ancestor's clothes. He's currently wearing their clothes. And Aaron notices in the portrait that the clothes have the yin-yang dragon symbol. He thinks that maybe Roby is responsible. And, he might be the villain that killed the matriarch dragon. We had a match between Frack versus Zur, the Devonian, and it makes me realize that the tournament of sources would make would actually make a really cool Ninjago video game. Yeah, I would totally love to play a Ninjago tournament of sources video game. Frack asks Cole for advice about using Earth powers before fighting Zur, so that's another cool attribute of Frack's is that he's like, hey, I got your Earth powers now. Can you give me some advice? So Frack is not evil. Despite being with Ross, he's more just like a serpentine Aaron. And the match is called Grid Drop, which is glowing cubes that drop and move as the contestants fight on top of them. Below, Zeatrix taunts Lloyd, causing him to have further visions of the future. I honestly don't see much of a difference between Beatrix and Zeatrix at this point. They seem pretty close in personality. It doesn't help that they look exactly alike, because I guess they didn't want to reuse Zeatrix's previous character model. I'll have to wait to see Beatrix and Zeatrix come together on screen for me to really see the difference between their characters. So Frack uses Cole's advice on how to use his Earth powers to save himself, and he defeats Zur. And despite winning the match, Ross is angry that Frack asked for advice from Cole. It's like, I am your master. You do what I say. You don't talk to them. And we get some other matches that are quickly shown. Like Lloyd wins against a Kragling Elemental Master whose power was Cannonball or something. Like he rolls up into a cannonball and fires himself. There's this multiplying skeleton that defeats this Merlopian Screamer. Geo defeats the giant purple guy who's the Elemental Master of Size by fusing cubes together. Zeatrix defeats this bubble woman. The psychic guy gets electrocuted by Noct. Yeah, the psychic guy was from the Elemental Tournament season. Lloyd fights Geo, and he wins against Geo. Then Zeatrix wins against the multiplying skeleton person. Sora wins against that purple-haired Elemental Master of Disguise from the Tournament of Elements. And the thing is, I know that she didn't even get to use her powers before she was defeated. Then Roby announces a surprise final match of the day between Lloyd, referred to as the Elemental Master of Life. And yeah, that's what his powers are, not energy or just green. It's life. Lloyd is the Elemental Master of Life. Would you ever know that he was the Elemental Master of Life based on his powers of energy blasts? Lloyd is gonna fight Zeatrix in the final match. Yeah, we get some modern slang from Roby, drip and yeet. Drip and yeet. It's weird hearing those words in Ninjago. And the match is called the Gauntlet, which allows contestants to use weapons. And Lloyd sees that the sword from his vision and decides to grab it before Zeatrix does. Also, I guess the multiplying skeleton guy was the Elemental Master of Figment. So the multiple different Zeatrixes that are illusions. Yeah, because Zeatrix, she divides herself, but I guess she doesn't actually do it. She just makes it look like she's divided herself. Is figment of your imagination. She also has other elements that I put down as elemental powers of sound, like screaming, surface tension. I don't remember what that one looked like. And bubbles. Oh, apparently surface tension was bubbles. That's weird that, I guess they could say oh, I'm the master of bubbles. No, you're the master of surface tension. Sure. I don't know. It's creative, I guess. So she fills a giant bubble with shockwave energy and throws it at Lloyd, but Lloyd hits it with his own power, causing a small explosion and breaking the gauntlet. So the match pauses so Boss can fix the gauntlet. And Lloyd is scared that his vision will come true, but Sora inspires him not to be afraid, which is another character arc for Lloyd, is that he has to learn not to be afraid of his visions. So this time, instead of running from Zeatrix like he was the first time, Lloyd fights Zeatrix directly. He grows big and hits her off the gauntlet with a giant mallet. So he uses his size-changing powers to play golf with her, basically. But despite Lloyd being declared the winner, Zeatrix uses her wind powers to fly back up and hit Lloyd so hard that the sword she's holding shatters and sends Lloyd falling down, hurting him badly. So now you get hurt by fall damage. Okay, episode 18 is Clues and Suspects. Lloyd is in a coma, and Zeatrix is expelled from the tournament and future tournaments for, the illegal hit. So Zeatrix tries to apologize, saying she blacked out and was acting out of rage. I don't know if she was possessed or something. Yeah, she says oops, I didn't have control over myself. And Wildfire actually threatens Zeatrix, making her break out of her cuffs. She attacks the ninja until Roby takes her powers away, because she hadn't had her powers taken away already, because Lloyd was in a coma. He couldn't transfer the powers. But he's like, okay, I'm just taking them away anyways. And Zeatrix is escorted out of the city, and that's the last we see of her for a while. So Roby says that he will transfer the powers to Lloyd when he wakes up, and Aaron tells Wildfire about the dragon's symbol cufflinks that Roby wears. And Wildfire agrees to help Aaron, not because she thinks that Roby is guilty because she wants to prove that Roby is innocent. Sora offers her help, but Eren isn't interested. He's still angry at her. And I don't like Eren and Sora not fighting with each other. And we get a quick flashback of Eren playing game night with his parents, because I guess they would play detective games or something. So Eren and Wildfire, they try to get into Roby's office, but the door is locked. So that stops them for a bit. And the next match is Sora versus Frack. So this is where Sora's the only powered ninja left. This is the make or break match for them. So Sora tells Cole that something is up with Jordana before the match begins. And during the match, when it looks like Frack might lose, he's about to put on the wolf mask, but remembers Eren's words and just throws it away. And as a result, Frack loses and Sora wins and gets his powers. And Ross is angry at Frack for disobeying him and costing him the match. And Ross says he never wants to see Frack again. So Jordana slips Sora a note with an Imperium math equation on it, and it's a note that only Sora would understand. So back with Eren and Wildfire, they see Roby and Blecht coming, so they try to act natural, with Wildfire flirting with Roby and complimenting his cufflinks, which Roby says his uncle gave them to him before the robot attack. Yeah, so he must be innocent. It's I just got these cufflinks. So Eren has another flashback to his parents, telling him to trust the evidence over his own opinion. Eren sees that Blecht has the dragon symbol on the bottom of his walking stick. He sees so that leads him to believe that, okay, so my opinion is that Roby is the one I think is the villain. Now I think that Blecht might be the villain, since we have evidence to suggest that maybe he was behind it. Before the door to their office closes, Eren blocks it with his detective notebook, trusty detective notebook. We see their office, and I like that both sides of the office are different. Roby's side is more hip and modern, while Blecht's side is more bland and traditional. And Wildfire ends up stumbling upon the entrance to the secret lair on Blecht's side, and they find evidence that Blecht hates his nephew with a passion, and he even previously met with Ross, so Blecht and Ross are working together. And when Eren gets back, Sora tells him about the note that Jordana gave her, but she needs help solving the meaning of the message. The message is Crown Mana Stereo. Crown Mono Stereo. Eren works out that it could mean that the matriarch dragon's crown, her horns, are in the monastery, Monasterio. While in a coma, Lloyd dreams that he is attacked by wolf masks, Beatrix, and Eren before being saved by the motion source dragon. She tells him he must win the games, which wakes him up. So it's like, hey, win the games, wake up. He's like, oh, I'm awake. Ugh. So Lloyd is healthy enough to attend his match with Noct, which was about to be canceled, and Cole and Eren go to the monastery and see that there are more floating gold balls, near the top. And it's like, what is that about? Roby transfers the powers he won in the last match to him before his fight with Noct. Lloyd and Noct begin to fight, only for Blecht to stop it, citing that Lloyd is visibly injured as reason for the match to be forfeited. Now, Roby hesitantly agrees, as it is in the rulebook, and believes that Lloyd's health is more important than keeping the match going. So Roby seems like a good guy. He's like, oh, well, I mean, this could get a lot of views, but I don't want you to die, man. So Noct becomes the victor by default, which is totally lame. Come on. What a cop-out. And meanwhile, Cole steals his ancestor's old mech suit to help him and Eren get into the monastery. Noct gains Lloyd's powers, and Lloyd thinks he's failed, but Sora reminds him that she's still in the games and that she needs him to train her. Despite not having his Earth powers, Cole can still pilot the mech because he thinks it was his mother's and has a connection to it, using the mech's powers to form a rock bridge. So, sure, however that works. I would really love to see a prequel about Cole's mom, since she seems like a cool person. The 4 golden balls that we see floating around, they form the shape of Master Wu, a twist we all already saw coming. That's how the episode ends. Like, if that was a twist. So for episode 19, the final game, we get a flashback to when the Forbidden Five were conquering Ninjago, or maybe it was like just the realms in general. And Noct brings forth one of Ross's ancestors on his knees, and is about to kill him when the Dragon Masters fly in to defeat them. And in the present, Noct and his sister, possessing Jordana's body, conspire to kill Ross as part of their plans. Yeah, so it makes me wonder, like, I guess Ross is, like, you know, too self-absorbed to realize that Jordana is possessed by one of the members of the Forbidden Five, or maybe he does know and he's already planning for their betrayal. I don't know. It just seems like Ross did not think this part through after his plan of bringing the Forbidden Five back. So Wildfire saves Blecht from getting crushed by a falling stone. Blecht's just like walking by his own business. A rock almost falls on him, and Wildfire like pushes it out of the way. Yeah, Blecht like thanks her for this, but it turns out it was part of a plan for her to switch out like the book he was holding so she could steal it. And it's like, what if he had failed? Blecht would be dead. Like, wow. So she looks through the book but can't understand the language that it's written in. So Aaron and Cole, they follow Master Wu's ghost into the monastery, where they find gateways to other monasteries and locations. I guess I kind of spoiled this earlier, and maybe like in an earlier video, but that like all the monasteries like have gateways to other monastery locations. So it's like one gate for each of the realms, and they find the horns of the murder dragons like on the ceiling. Aaron asks Wu's ghost if he caused the merge, to which Wu answers yes before splitting apart and disappearing. So Aaron's like, what? All this is happening as Sora struggles in her training to use her new powers, and Sora also tries apologizing to Jordana for anything that happened in their past. So it's cool seeing like Sora with all this power, and like she doesn't know what to do with it. Like it shows the flaw in a genius. Like, you know, she's like smart in a lot of ways, but she's also inexperienced in just as many ways. I feel like she's a very good character. Zur, the Devonian, sees that Blecht's book is written in Devonian. Like, Wildfire, like Zur sees, looks over Wildfire's shoulder and is like, oh, hey, that's written in my language. I can totally help you translate that. And the thing is, like, Zur has never talked before until this, so Wildfire was, like, surprised, that Zur is talking. And Zur, being a nice guy, like as I said, he agreed to help Wildfire. I don't know if that was why that assassin bot went after Zur, like because he was Devonian and he could possibly translate the book, even though that's only if Blecht thought that maybe somebody would steal the book. But I guess the show needed to make him seem important somehow. So the final match between Sora and Noct begins. So with Sora trying spin jutsu, but it doesn't work, so she creates an ice barrier, quakes it, and uses her reflex powers to make it vibrate and counter-shock shatter spin when shattered. So she's like combining all these powers together, and like Noct does the same. Is that Noct and Sora, they're combining powers against each other, and then Aaron gets lured up to speed on his and Cole's findings in the monastery. So Aaron and Zane, run to the monastery to steal the horns while the match is going on, and Sora uses her powers to turn the zapping device on the back of Noct's head into this bumblebee to continuously zap him, which I thought was funny. But then the area suddenly shifts, like the area they're on suddenly shifts, causing Noct to defeat Sora. So once again, it's completely rigged against the ninja. Kai and Bonzel, they're watching the Forbidden Five watch Noct win the tournament. So Roby, he takes away Sora's powers and is prepared to transfer it to Noct when Wildfire and Zur appear, alleging that Blecht's book has evidence that he rigged the games in Ross's favor and has been working with him the whole time. He intentionally didn't send the ninja any invites and sidelined Xeatrix to make it easier for Ross to win. So Roby asks his uncles why he would do such a thing, to which Blecht answers that it was because he hated what Roby was doing to the games, and Ross promised to get rid of him if he won. which would make Blecht the game master of the tournament. Roby tries to have Blecht arrested, but Noct attacks. He attacks all the bots and takes the last of the powers for himself. And with Noct's control collar gone, he doesn't have to take Ross's orders anymore. And then Jordana reveals that she is Noct's sister, Rox, having escaped and possessed Jordana's body somehow with her body still in the prison realm. I know that they didn't sacrifice a person, so her body couldn't come out, but it's like, how could the spirit do it? I don't know. Whatever. So Noct and Rox reveal that they were the ones hunting and killing the dragons. Not Ross, not Blecht, Noct and Rox. And I thought that was a pretty good twist that made sense. Like, oh, okay, yeah, I can see that. But Rox uses magic to take control of the wolf masks after Ross orders them to attack, and that includes Cinder. And this causes like giant claws to come out of some of their backs, and I don't know why, but now all the wolf masks are attacking everybody. They're attacking the ninja, they're attacking the contestants, they're attacking Ross. That's how the episode ends. And so in the season 2 finale, episode 20, Elements of Betrayal. It'd be funny if there actually was an elemental master of betrayal. Like, the wolf masks, as I said before, the wolf masks are attacking everybody, and at the same time, at the monastery, Aaron, Zane, and Cole try to get the horns out of the ceiling, but no luck. But then Nia and Ryu come through one of the gates. She tells them that she found a way to contact Kai, and that the dragon horns can be used to bring him and Bonzo back, or the Forbidden Five if they aren't careful. So Nia sees that Noct and Rox are heading toward the monastery, and the ninja fight them off. So back at the big fight between the wolf masks and the contestants, Ross takes Roby, as he has the elemental cup, which can take away the elemental powers from Noct, because Noct is the elemental master of everything right now. The rest of the ninja follow while the contestants deal with the wolf masks, and Aaron and Ryu go after Noct to stop him from bringing back the rest of the Forbidden Five, while Nia and Zane fight Rox. And Jordana tries to take control of her body again, but fails. She's struggling to get control. And so Rox freezes Zane and Nia and Cole in place. She uses these magic powers to make them literally stop in place. But during the fight, Aaron is able to use true actual spinjitzu on Noct, and then Roby and Ross arrive to provide backup, but Noct is able to fight them all off, and he possibly kills Roby. By knocking him off the cliff. But not that falls seem to hurt anyone in this universe. Well, almost anyone. But Roby's actually he's hanging onto a branch. So Noct uses his powers on the dragon horns, blasts them all to bring back the Forbidden Five. And this causes Nox's spirit to leave Jordana's body and return to her own. And then Jordana uses the purple orb thing that she has to reverse the static spell, unfreezing the Cole and Zane. So Cole's mech doesn't seem to have enough elemental energy left to form a new rock bridge, so they can help Aaron and Ryu. Luckily, the other ninja arrived to help them. And so Aaron helps get a rock off of Ross. He was crushed under a rock. And the other three members of the Forbidden Five are drained by the crossing from the nether space, so they're unconscious as soon as they, come out of their prison. But the ninja arrived to defeat them. At least they're Noct and Rox. So Noct and Rox, they realize that they're outnumbered, so they're getting ready to retreat. Because against the ninja and Ross, Aaron throws some shade at Lloyd for not teaching him proper spinjitzu. It's I had to get Ross's teaching was so much better than yours. But that's not exactly what he says, but it's pretty much what he says. And Wildfire saves Roby from falling to his death, and they romance roar at each other. Now I see here, I think maybe Rox might be unconscious as well. I'm not sure. So it might just be Noct that they're all fighting against, which makes sense considering he's the elemental master of everything. So Eren stops Noct from killing Roz, and with a power from Ryu, Nia uses her connection with the dragon Ivory to bring Kai back, and Kai puts up a good fight with Noct for a bit, giving Roby enough time for him to start taking the elemental powers away from Noct. And Noct having all his powers taken away causes him to collapse. So Roby returns all the elemental powers to their rightful owners, making me realize that the ninja went into battle without their elemental powers and they still won. I mean, it was with Roby's help, but still they were able to defeat Noct without any elemental powers. And with their powers back, the contestants are also able to start winning the battle against the Wolf Masks. And so Noct takes Ross captive and escapes with the rest of the Forbidden Five. They all start to make their getaway, and Eren takes Ross's mallet and goes after them, as Ross might know where his parents are. So Eren chases them through a gateway before it blows up, and he just disappears. That's the last we see of Eren. So while everyone is worried about Eren, they all group hug Kai and Bonzel, because Bonzel reveals that she's back as well. And Master Wu's golden ghost also briefly reveals himself to Lloyd before disappearing again, because I guess that's all he's good for. Hi, I'm back. Bye. That's it. Roby voids the previous victory and makes Sora and the ninja the winners, and nobody has a complaint about that, because of all the lying and all the rigging. So I think Roby had a good character arc by the end of this season. And so Sora wonders where Jordana is, but she's disappeared, and she also wonders if Eren is doing okay and hopes to, repair their relationship next time they meet. So Roby and Wildfire agree to stay in touch. Lloyd says that they can use the gateway at the monasteries to, get back home and go anywhere they need to. And Nia tells Kai about Jay. Nia tells Kai that Jay is back. Well, kind of. So Cole tells Zane about the Forbidden Five, Ross, and Eren didn't come out of the gateway in the Cloud Kingdom. It's that's the thing. They went into the Cloud Kingdom portal, but they did not come out the other side of the Cloud Kingdom. So the explosion may have scattered them anywhere in the merged lands. So they were all missing. Back at the ninja's monastery, Lloyd meets the Motion Source Dragon and apologizes to her for not being able to stop the Forbidden Five from coming back, but she tells him that he succeeded in finding out who murdered the other Source Dragons, and now the rest of the remaining Source Dragons acknowledge that there is a real threat out there, even though, two of you died, so you already knew there was a threat. But the Source Dragons now owe the ninja debt, and she gives Lloyd a dragon icon dagger to make made from one of her scales, and it can summon the Motion Source Dragon to the mortal world only once when he truly needs her. So that's going to be important later on, hopefully. So Eren and Ross are, the season ends with Eren and Ross by a campfire. Eren doesn't trust the ninja anymore because because Master Wu caused the merge, even though the ninja didn't really seem to know about that either, so I don't know why he doesn't trust the ninja. I don't know, he's confused a bit. Yeah, but he doesn't trust the ninja anymore, but only trusts Roz now, because Eren believes he can lead him to his parents. I wish Eren had a few more disagreements with the other ninja before going off with Roz, because this turn isn't as believable as it should be. He's just going off with Roz because Master Wu. He was right about Master Wu causing the merge, and because he helped him, finally learn Spinjitzu. So I get that, but I know it's also because he supposedly knows where his parents are, but I just don't understand why he thinks that Ross is a very trustworthy guy when he was working with Imperium, and he's tried to kill Eren on multiple occasions, as well as other people. I don't know. Eren just wants his parents back, so maybe I'll give him a bit of a pass. I know that the merge took everything from Eren, but I feel like hating the ninja just feels a little too much since all these revelations just came up in the past few episodes, and that's that is the end of Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 2, Part 2. I really like the tournament arc. I wish it was a full season, instead of just being 10 episodes. And I wish more previous Elemental Masters, came back. But, so despite being only 10 episodes and not, focusing on as many Elemental Masters as I would have liked, I still really enjoyed it. Once again, I enjoyed the new characters that appeared. I enjoyed the story developments. And, I'm glad that they finally, Ninja finally know that Jay is back. I like Frack. I like Roby. The season ended in a way that excited me for the next season. So, and I couldn't wait to see how that story progressed. Tune in next time for my thoughts on Ninjago Dragons Rising Season 3. Matt out.